everyone, and welcome back to Emkin Gardening. Happy Earth Day! We are not going to be planting a tree today, but we did know that we needed to plant something. So because it is the middle of April right now, we are going to be planting potatoes. The middle of April is the perfect time to be planting your potatoes, and we are excited because we are starting our potato seeds that we got from Johnny Seeds. Now, we ordered these with our Johnny Seed order back in, January, but just like our bulbs, Johnny Seeds won't send them out until it is ready for you to plant them. So like the beginning of April, mid-April is when they're sending out all of their potato seeds. So through Johnny Seeds, we got Yukon Gold, and we only got a 5-pound bag because there's only 2 of us, so we don't need a massive amount of potatoes to be planting. So when our potato seed order came in finally, we knew that we wanted to plant them in a different way. Because we live in a smaller gardening area, downtown urban setting, we can't do in-ground potato planting, which is more traditional. So in-ground planting and raised bed planting are the most traditional spaces to do your potatoes. We are going to use our 247 grow bags to plant our potatoes this year. This is our driveway bed. We typically do the bulk of our vegetable planting right here. It gets all day sunlight, which potatoes need. So it's a perfect and ideal spot to plant. Most vegetables, and especially potatoes, want well-draining spots. So what's great about a fabric vessel is that the water that you're watering with can really soak out and not sit and saturate the potatoes, which would end up rotting them. Also, because it's fabric, it has really great airflow, which all of those potatoes will need while they are bulking up under the soil. So grow bags are really great. We exclusively use grow bags for our vegetables for all of those wonderful reasons. So traditionally, when you're in-ground growing or through raised beds, you would be digging trenches for your potatoes. That is also what Johnny Seeds recommends. However, we're going to be breaking the rules a little bit in this video because we're not going to be trenching in our grow bags. So ideally, you would trench about, we're going to be going about 3 to 4 inches down into the soil, and you would space them out a good 1.5 feet from the next trench. Again, we're not going to be doing that with our planting. We're going to be doing it a little bit differently, but generally the rule of thumb is about 4 inches down, you'd put the potato seed, and then you would space them out about 8 inches apart. We're going to be doing that except for in more of like a circular formation to allow for as many potatoes in these bags as we can, with giving them as much space as we can. With potatoes, the more space you give them, the bigger the potato will get. So we might not get the biggest potatoes that they can grow to, but we'll be getting some good decent sized potatoes with the depth as well that we're going to be working with. So when we got these Yukon Gold potato seeds from Johnny Seeds, they came whole and they already had some eyes forming on them. Now, eyes are the small growths that come sticking out of the potato. Now, a lot of the potatoes had multiple eyes on them. So what we ended up doing is just spreading them out and cutting them into sections, making sure that each section had a really good eye on it. If it is a smaller potato, you can also just plant these ones completely whole. They are small enough that they can be planted whole. You don't need to cut them up. So we did have a few of the smaller ones that we could just use planting straight into the ground. So that was the first step. We did that a couple days ago to allow for those cuts that we used to kind of heal and callus over. That kind of protects the eye from not getting rot if it is protected and a little bit calloused. So we did that a few days ago. Everything's calloused over and ready to plant. So we're going to get a closer look on how we're going to plant specifically in these grow bags, because it is a little bit different than your raised bed or your in-ground planting, but still very functional in a smaller garden. So let's take a look. All right, so as you can see, here's the eye. That is a great example of one of the sections that we cut off. And right here, you can see the nice calloused over portion from where we made the cut. Now, we did not fill our grow bags all the way, and there is a reason for that. So we're gonna start here, and we're just going to dig a little hole about 3 inches down. And we're going to put our eye facing straight up. So this is where the stalk and all the leaves and everything's going to come from. The roots are going to come down and the tubers are going to form off of all of those roots. So you want the eye facing up for that stalk to grow. So we're going to put it about 3 inches down and we're going to cover it up. My game plan is to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then one in the middle. It is not ideal spacing. So I'm hoping that they will have enough space, but it is a pretty deep bag. So I'm hoping that depth-wise, they're going to be fine. Now, when these stalks start growing, about 7 to 8 weeks, you can start harvesting smaller potatoes. What we're going to be doing is when the stalks are about 6 inches high, we're going to start mounding up on the stalk about 4 inches. And then when it keeps growing, we'll mound more dirt up using more soil, mound more soil until it's all mounded about a foot off. So like we'll have like hills going in this bag. Now what happens when you do that is every time you mound up, it allows more roots and shoots and tubers to be forming off of that stalk. Another sign that your potatoes are almost ready to be harvested is the blooms. Once your potatoes start blooming, you can wait about 3 weeks after that. And that's also a good time to kind of start harvesting those little potatoes. I would wait a little bit longer than that. When you start seeing the foliage kind of die back, get brown and wither and die back, that is more of a good indicator that it is time to harvest. So you'll wait for that to happen, and then you can maybe even wait a couple weeks after that to get those really big potatoes that you're looking for. All of that with the Yukon Gold, it's going to take about 100 days. So a few months, 100 days to go from planting to harvest. With potatoes, you know, you plant that one little section of an eye and you get so many potatoes from one plant. So it's well worth it. We have given ourselves some space, a big depth, space to hill, and I think we'll be okay. The soil that is in here is just a Miracle Grow garden soil. Potatoes want really light, fluffy, lofty soil to have space to get really big and fat. So they want really lofty soil, so new soil is key. They are also heavy feeders. So we gave a big dose of Garden Tone from Espoma with the Biotone formula inside. We gave each bag a heavy dose for all the potatoes to feed on. Again, they are very heavy feeders. So that is what is in the bag, and I think we're ready to plant. So let's plant. Project that is so rewarding in the end. They're all tucked in, eyes are facing up. They're about 3 to 4 inches down. We fit about 5 in each bag and then 3 in this bag. So we'll have big plants. We're not gonna get the big fat potatoes, but that's okay. Even the smaller ones are still really good for us in how much we eat, how we cook potatoes, and all of that. So the very last thing that I wanted to touch on is watering. Potatoes don't like to be sitting in water. So the suggestion is to water maybe twice a week, giving them a good soak. Don't let them completely dry out, but stick your hand in, see if like the first couple inches are dry, and if the first few inches are dry, you can give it a good soak. But it's typically 2 times a week to 1 time a week. In the cooler weather, you might get away with like the rain and everything. You might not have to water that often at all, and kind of depending on the rain in your area, and then kind of pick up in the summertime with those soakings. But again, you can soak it. The bags are great because it'll drain really, really nicely. And then just kind of let it be. Don't water every day. They don't like to sit in water. They will rot. But in several weeks, we should be seeing some plants pop up and we'll start the healing process. Let's give them a good soak. If you liked this video, give us a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe to MK Gardening. We will list everything that we used, especially these grow bags, if you wanted to check them out, in the description box below. But we hope you're having a great weekend. Happy Earth Day. If you're able to do some planting this weekend, go out and do it. We hope you're really enjoying this weather, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.